The Braves non-tendered Alek Manoah on Friday, while the Rangers non-tendered Adolis Garcia. Let me tell you why I doubt either one of them are Atlanta Braves in 2026. Yes, welcome on in to Braves Today for Monday, November 24th, your source for news, notes, and updates on your Atlanta Braves. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can follow the show on X, Braves_today. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram as well. And you can find all my written work, BravesToday.com. That's the Braves Today Substack, as this is both a podcast and a newsletter. We're proudly part of the Believe Podcast Network and presented to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today. Go to FanDuel.com to get started because they have odds for literally every single professional sport that exists and even a couple that really kind of don't. So, FanDuel.com, check it out. Get started today. Non-tender deadline came and went on Friday, and the Braves, as expected, made deals with most of their guys. Dylan Lee, they have not agreed to a salary yet, so that is heading towards an arbitration hearing. They have until January to trade final figures before the filing deadline. But everybody else signed with the exception of Carson Ragsdale, who they recently claimed off of waivers for the second time, and Alek Manoah. And that one was a little bit surprising on its face until you dig into some of the numbers. So let's talk about why he's not a member of the Atlanta Braves. And then we're going to get to Adolis Garcia, the outfielder who was non-tendered by the Rangers, and why I don't think he's going to be a member of the Braves going forward. But for Manoah, the thing to know about him is he has been very good in his career. 11th overall pick in 2019 out of West Virginia. He's from South Florida, Homestead, Florida. And debuted in 21, good season, 20 starts, 3.22 ERA. Took it to another level in 2022. 16-7 with a 2.24 ERA in 31 starts. 196 and 2/3 innings. Struck out 180 in those innings. Was an all-star. Had that famous mic'd up all-star performance where he was on camera talking about punchies and all of that. It was something fun. Third place finisher for Cy Young and 17th place finisher for MVP in 2022. And then the wheels fell off. 2023 was the start of the pitch clock. And he really struggled with the implementation. He's always been a bigger guy. He's listed at 6'6", 285. Blue Jays reporters that I've been reading some of their stuff, reached out to one of them to kind of confirm some of this, say that he reported to spring training in 2023 at like 315 pounds. So physical fitness, conditioning wasn't there. He struggled with the shorter time between pitches. In 19 major league starts, he only finished 87 in the third innings. Averaged less than 5 innings a start in 2023. ERA of almost 6, 5.87. His fielding independent pitching was even worse. It was, in fact, over 6. He had a strikeout rate of just 19%, a career low for him. He had a walk rate of 14.2%, more than double where it was in 2022. So he got sent to the minors. They really wanted him to work on it a little bit, miss some time because of injury and all of that. In 2024, he looked to be a little bit better in the majors. Made 5 starts, 3.70 ERA across 24 and a third innings, 26 strikeouts. Just looked like a little bit of a better guy. And then he goes down with Tommy John. And when he came back, the numbers look good, but I think it was a bit of a mirage. So in 2025 in AAA, Alek Manoah made 7 starts, and you're like, okay, cool. 2.97 ERA. That dude is back. But what that 2.97 ERA doesn't tell you in his 7 starts was that 1, he allowed I can't do, yeah, eight unearned runs in that span. He had more hard hit balls and a lower whiff rate than your average AAA pitcher. A lot of those hard hit balls were in the air. His fastball was down to only 91 miles an hour. In his last 3 starts in AAA in 2025, he didn't throw a single pitch over 93. And as recently as 2023, he was averaging 93 with his four-seamer. His great 2022 season, he averaged 94 with his fastball. And again, he didn't throw a single pitch over 93 in his last couple starts of the year in 2023. The slider didn't really look that good. It was just like the ERA was good. But all of the ingredients that go into the ERA did not look good. He wasn't missing bats. He wasn't avoiding walks. The fastball velocity was below average. Again, he averaged 91.3. His slider was 79 miles an hour. The average AAA slider he threw in 2025 was 79 miles an hour. It was not good. He was walking guys. He was giving up hard contact. He got lucky with that ERA being what it was because Toronto's AAA defense was so bad. They gave up 8 unearned runs across 7 starts in 33 innings. Terrible defense. That's like one error every 4 innings. One run scoring error every 4 innings. Awful defense, right? The arbitration projection for Alek Manoah was that his salary was going to be the same that it was in 2025, so $2.2 million. And technically, that can go down. Your salary in arbitration, contrary to popular belief, can drop 20%. So his minimum salary could have been as low as $1.76 million. The Braves claimed him in late September 26th. The AAA season was over, so he did not pitch for the Braves in an official capacity. The flip side of that is they only paid about $60,000 to get him in the organization, to have time to talk to him, to watch him throw bullpens, see what he looked like, and all of that. And the Braves decided they didn't want any part to do with Alek Manoah. Now, my assumption here, and this is speculation, this is not reporting, my assumption here is that the Braves did not want to guarantee Alek Manoah $2 million. They wanted to sign him either to a minor league deal or some sort of split contract. And the way a split contract works, if I know Bruhan signed one of these, the way a split contract works is in the deal, it specifies your salary in the minors, your salary in the majors. And what you get paid will automatically adjust when you're promoted to the majors. And it's prorated, obviously. You don't get the entire amount if you spend one day, right? But it gives you the salaries for both. They probably we're going to offer to pay him extra to stay in the minors, and then give him probably something closer to what he thought he was worth in the majors. And typically these come with a pre-consent form to be sent to the minors, to be outrighted to the minors. Manoah has options. They could have optioned him down. And I'm guessing Bruhan, who does not have options, I'm guessing he signed a pre-consent to be sent to the minors. Manoah, you could have just optioned him down there. But either way, I'm guessing the Braves did not want to officially tender him a contract and be on the hook for $2 million in guaranteed money. I'm also willing to bet that Manoah probably wanted the full amount on a major league deal, and that's where the disconnect happened. It doesn't mean they can't bring him back. We saw Joel Payamps sign a new deal with the Braves on Sunday, and he will be back next year. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But Alek Manoah is now a free agent. Whoever signs him, you can try to fix him. good luck. I genuinely don't know what he is at this point in time. It feels like Alek Manoah's biggest obstacle to being in the majors is Alek Manoah. It feels like it is his physical fitness. It feels like it is his adjustment to the pitch clock. And it feels like it is all things in his control versus the organization. But the Blue Jays, clearly, they were headed to the World Series last year. They didn't think he could help late in the year. Because playoff teams will take a bunch of guys and will keep them at the spring training complex as part of what I guess you could call like a stay ready group. It's the extra players every postseason. They're on standby in case there's an injury, in case there's a roster move or something like that, right? The Blue Jays clearly did not think that he could contribute at the major league level. They also, despite Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer, and Shane Bieber all being scheduled to be free agents, and we know by now that Bieber took his player option and came back. But at the time they made the move to designate him for assignment, they did not know that. Despite having 3 starting pitchers potentially leaving in free agency, the Blue Jays declined to protect Alek Manoah. They declined to keep him in the organization. The Braves have also done that. Again, it cost them virtually nothing, $60,000 in salary on the 25 number, not 26. Maybe they sign him to a deal. I think this is one of those situations he'll sign pretty late in the offseason when he realizes the only option he has left is a minor league deal. In just a minute, let's talk about Adolis Garcia. Was non-tendered by the Rangers, and a lot of people have asked for the Braves to pick him up, and I don't think it's going to happen, or I don't think it's a good idea. And we'll talk about that next, right here on Braves Today. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Encase Cards, custom card manufacturer. I love these guys. You upload your source photos. U Sports makes a ton of sense, but it can be anything. It can be the winners and losers from your fantasy football team. It can be how you ask somebody to be your best man at your wedding, whatever it might be. You upload your photo. They apply the holographic options, the background, all of the graphics, the text, everything on there. Print it on a high-quality cardstock. Slab it. They put it in one of those protective plastic cases. Put a frame on it with a built-in stand and ship it to you. Fantastic gift. You can order it for the holidays. The kids in your life, the people who mean something special to you, they're going to love this. Go to ncasecards.com, ncasecards.com. Promo code Braves today gets you 20% off your order. That's ncasecards.com, ncasecards.com. Promo code Braves today. Welcome back to Braves Today. Lindsay Crosby. Let's talk about Adolis Garcia, because he was the best hitter for the Texas Rangers in the 2023 ALCS that got them into the World Series. He hit .323, he hit 5 home runs, and drove in 15 against the Houston Astros. He was MVP of the ALCS, and he got non-tendered by the Rangers on Friday. And one of the common things I've seen from Braves fans all over social media is Adolis Garcia screaming that he's a Brave. He's got to come to the Braves. I don't know if they're going to do it. And I understand the argument that his best season, 2023, in his best season, where he had an .836 OPS, he hit 39 home runs, played above average defense. I mean, he was one of the best players in baseball. He had a 92nd percentile batting run value. He had an 87th percentile fielding run value. He was a good base runner, 74th percentile in base running. He was one of the best players in baseball that year. Part of the reason they made the World Series. He was very, very good. In the last 2 seasons, he has not been that guy. 24 and 25 together, he has just under 1,000, just under 1,200 plate appearances. So it's full sample, 600 plate appearances. It's considered a full season. He has mostly 2 full seasons here. He combined for 44 home runs. And remember, in 23, he hit 39 by himself. His slash, 225 batting average, 278 on base, 397 slug. Strikeout rate of 26%. His walk rate severely falling. In that 23 season, he had a walk rate over 10%. In 24, it was 7%. Last year, it was 5.1%. There is a surprising amount of blue on that StatCast. As somebody, listen, I turned 41 years old this year. I don't want to think that 32 is old. But the drop-off that he has had from ages 30 to age 32 is significant. And when you look at some of the inputs, the things that lead you to the statistics that he put up, there are some concerning trends. His bat speed went from a 71st percentile mark to 49th. And you can see a lot of the ancillary effects from that, right? That slug is just gone. Again, slugged 394 this year, slugged 400 last year. In 2023, it started with a 5. And it went from a 5 number to a 4 number to a 3 number. And when you look at what he does, as far as the type of player he is based on the inputs, not the production, based on the inputs, what he's trying to do at the plate, he doesn't, despite having played with Tim Hires in Texas. Tim Hires was his hitting coach for a couple seasons. But he is not the same type of hitter that the Braves have prioritized and tried to add this year. He has a lot of, he expands the zone a lot, 10th percentile in 2025. He misses a lot. His whiff percentage, 15th percentile. He strikes out a lot. He no longer walks a lot. His bat speed, he's still hitting the ball hard. His average exit velocity is 89th percentile. He's still hitting the ball hard. He's getting lots of hard hit balls. He's getting lots of barrels. But he's swinging and missing too much for that power to really work in games. Again, 19 home runs after hitting 39 2 years ago. And yes, I know 23 felt like it had weird balls. I know, weird baseballs. They were juiced and were flying far. But this is a drop-off that's going to be studied. His OPS was almost 200 points lower in 25 than it was in 23. And this is just not the profile of what the Braves have wanted to do under Tim Hires. Look at the guys they brought in. Jurickson Profar, Alex Verdugo as an injury recoverer, Ha-Seong Kim, Nick Allen. These are all guys that are not known for their power, but make good swing decisions and have high contact. They can put the balls in play. That is what the Braves offense has shifted to. And under Tim Hires, that is what the Braves seem to be prioritizing in free agency. That's why my buddy Dick Mastriani wants the Braves to go get Cody Bellinger. Because he doesn't hit for a lot of power, but he puts the ball in play a lot. And Adolis Garcia is just not that kind of guy. He's still good defensively. He's no longer playing center field, but he's still good defensively. Fielding run value last year, he was +2, playing almost entirely right field. I'm sorry, playing entirely right field. My bad. He has not taken any at-bat, or he has not taken any plate appearances, any innings in center field since 23, and any in left field since 21. So, playing entirely right field the last couple years, and he's been remarkably consistent. He had 1,126 innings in 23 in right, 1,125 in 24, and 1,124 innings last year. Remarkably consistent, right? came out +2 last year in fielding run value. His arm is still an asset. Arm strength 92nd percentile. His range was good. He was producing value with the arm, the accuracy of his throws and all of that. But at the plate, he was one of the worst hitters in baseball. 6th percentile batting run value. And it's very clear that, like, yes, he could be better. And part of me, having not spoken to Adolis Garcia, wonders, was this a little bit intentional? When you dig into what he was trying to do at the plate, he got farther back in the box. His swing is measurably shorter. We have swing data, bat tracking data, swing data from StatCast. The actual length of his swing has shortened, and he's moved back in the box. I feel like if that was an adjustment to help him be on time for fastballs with some declining bat speed, like I mentioned, it worked. 46 points of batting average better last year against fastballs, 54 points of slug. If that was an adjustment for him to have another split second to recognize spin, it absolutely did not work. His performance against breaking balls dropped to a 214 average, second lowest mark of his career. Against off-speed pitches, he went from a 241 average to a 169. So, like, yes, he got better against fastballs, being farther back in the box and with a shorter swing, but it does not offset his struggles with breaking balls and with off-speed pitches. Somebody's going to pay Adolis Garcia. I see the argument to add Adolis Garcia. I don't think, given the current makeup of Atlanta's offense and what they're trying to do offensively, that adding another high whiff, low batting average bat is the way to go. Because at the end of the day, you have those guys on your roster already. You have Michael Harris. He already does that. Like, you have guys who can do this already. And we've seen, anecdotally, the high whiff, high slug guys like Michael Harris, like Austin Riley, their transition to the Tim Hires offense has taken longer and been rockier than the guys like Matt Olson. The guys like Ha-Seong Kim, who hit well when he got here. So, Jurickson Profar, who, when he came back from suspension, hit well. So, I expect the Braves, they probably make a call on Adolis Garcia because of the history with Tim Hires. It doesn't feel like it's a very good fit for the Braves. But there are some names from Friday's non-tender deadline who I think are legitimately good options. We'll talk about them next, right here on Braves Today. Final segment of Braves Today, Lindsay Crosby. I'm recording this shortly after they announced a trade between the Mets and the Rangers. Marcus Semien for Brandon Nimmo, like straight up. Kind of an odd trade. A lot of bad deal, a lot of money for a bad deal, a lot of money. The Mets are reportedly throwing in like $10 million to help out with this. Semien's owed $26 million per year through the next 3 years. Nimmo's owed $20.5 million for the next 5 years. But again, there's a little bit of money coming from New York to offset some of that. I guess the Braves technically won this deal because Nimmo has been better against the Braves than Semien has. So getting Nimmo out of the division is probably the best way to handle this. I do think between the non-tenders of Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim, now the trade of Semien, the Rangers have probably cleared enough payroll where they don't need to consider trading Corey Seager. So if you're trying to figure out the Braves' impact here, that is probably what it is. I still don't understand how FanDuel has the Mets as the third best odds to win the National League. It's like Dodgers plus 185. Duh. Phillies plus 500. Mets plus 600. Braves plus 1,000. The Mets in 2025 were arguably better than the Mets in 2024 as far as talent on the roster. They signed Juan Soto for like $760 billion. He had 43 homers. He led the National League in stolen bases with 38. He was almost a 40-40 guy while hitting 260 with an on-base just shy of 400. Third place finisher in the MVP. And not only did they not make the NLCS again, like they did in 24, they didn't even make the postseason. And yet, they have better odds for the World to win the National League than the Braves do. And I'm assuming this is because the assumption the Mets are going to throw a bunch of money out to fix some of their problems. We'll see. Again, they're plus 600, plus 1,000 for the Braves on FanDuel. Shout out to Braves Today sponsor FanDuel for supporting the podcast. Non-tender deadline, there are a couple guys that I could see the Braves going after from the deadline. A couple bats. There's an arm I want to talk to you about, and then we'll talk about Joel Payamps, who re-signed with the Braves on Sunday. You look at some of the bats, Mike Tauchman is the number one name that stood out to me on the non-tender deadline. He hit 263, 356 on base, 400 slug last year. And the only reason I can really think of that the White Sox did not want to pick him up in arbitration is billionaire Jerry Reisdorf is being poor and doesn't want to pay $3.4 million for a dude who's a part-time player. He had one of his best offensive seasons. Like 2019, he was really good. 115 WRC plus. Last year, he did really good against righties specifically. 272 average. It's a 114 WRC plus last year, which was almost as good as his career best season in 2019 with the Yankees. And he wasn't terrible against lefties. It's just a very small sample size that isn't statistically significant, right? 71 plate appearances against lefties. 121 WRC plus. Of his 9 home runs, 3 of them came in those 71 plate appearances. So, he wasn't bad against lefties. It's just hard to count that as legitimate because of the sample size. But he did his job against righties. He was a good hitter. He's not a center fielder anymore. He's 33 years old. Not a center fielder anymore. He played exclusively right field for the White Sox. Perfectly average. 0 fielding run value. So, he didn't hurt you, but he wasn't adding extra value. And it was really kind of funny because everything that I looked at was between the 46th and 49th percentile. Range, arm strength, overall value with the arm. He is in every way an average right fielder. But it got me thinking about, we've talked before about looking for a platoon partner. Looking for a guy who can platoon in the outfield. And I'm starting to wonder if they go find a guy who can hit righties really well. Mike Yastrzemski can do it. Again, Tauchman can do it. Sean Murphy against lefties in his career, 116 WRC plus. Last year was a 123 WRC plus. We're all against the concept of re-signing Marcell Ozuna. And, last year he wasn't great. He was a 114 WRC plus, but he was better. He was better in 23 and 24 where he had a 140 mark, a 154 mark. He was an MVP finisher, all that stuff. We're all against the idea of having a full-time DH, right? But you can recreate him in the aggregate. You can find a guy who can hit lefties well, like Sean Murphy. He can be your DH while Baldwin's behind the plate, because Baldwin's not bad against lefties either. Against righties, you can use a guy like a Tauchman. You can use a guy like Yastrzemski and let them go out there and recreate your DH in the aggregate while being able to give Jurickson Profar and Ronald Acuna Jr. half days by letting them DH. Tauchman plays the field 2-3 days a week in this scenario. Those 2 guys rotate through DH. The rest of the time, it's Drake Baldwin or Sean Murphy. You can make it happen. You can make it work. The other name that stood out to me was JJ Bleday. Number 4 overall pick by the Marlins, traded to the Athletics. He was really good in 2024. +8 batting run value. He wasn't amazing defensively in center field. The range wasn't good. The arm was great. He came out slightly above average in fielding run value. But last year, he really struggled. His hard hit rate dropped 8%. His sweet spot percentage, which is being able to hit the ball between 8 and 32 degrees. So if you hit a hard hit ball that's between 8 and 32 degrees, depending on the specific numbers there, it's likely going to be a barrel. And barrels are likely home runs. So this is a predictive stat. Being able to do this means you are likely to be able to hit for more power. He dropped from an 80th percentile mark in 24 to a 6th percentile mark. He went up and down a lot. They sent him down a couple times. They did call him back up in early August and kept him up for the rest of the year. And from that point on, like August 2nd on, 111 plate appearances, he had a 115 WRC plus. So maybe he figured some of that stuff out, why he was slumping early in the year. But at worst, he's a Florida native who went to Vanderbilt. That's a demographic the Braves always like. Southern boys. He's due a change of scenery. His tender amount was $2.2 million. It's entirely possible the Braves reach out and try and sign him to a deal and give him a chance to... He's probably not an everyday center fielder for you if Michael Harris goes down, but I think he could cover center field for a couple innings and can be an above average in the corners. So another bat, kind of like Tauchman, but the ceiling is higher, the floor is lower. More of a reclamation project. A couple other guys I think make a lot of sense. Alexander Canario is huge bat speed, massive raw power, whiffs a lot. He has good speed, he's got a big arm. He is another kind of old school Braves guy, like a Kevin Seitzer kind of mold. He feels like a faster version of Jorge Soler with better defense. Jorge Soler when he was 24 years old, maybe. Don't think it's going to happen, but it's intriguing. MJ Melendez of the Royals was non-tendered. Former catcher that converted to the outfield. Could never really figure out the bat. But if you think you can fix his offense, he could be an outfield, rotational corner outfield guy for you that if something happened in a game, he could finish a game behind the plate for you. Because he does have major league innings at catcher. He wasn't good, and they had Salvador Perez, why he moved to the outfield. But you absolutely could use him to finish a game. A reminder, if you have a two-catcher lineup and one's at DH, and the guy behind the plate gets hurt, if you move the catcher in the DH role behind the plate into a defensive position, you lose the DH the rest of the game. And you have to either use pinch hitters or let the pitcher on record hit. So if you have a guy who can be a third catcher for you, and we saw the Braves call up Sandy Leon when they were using Baldwin a lot behind the plate, or using Baldwin a lot at DH. If you have a guy who can be a third catcher for you, you can let Melendez catch the final 5 innings or so and not lose your DH. So the only reason I really think about that there. Mark Leiter is a guy I'm really intrigued about. Was traded to the Yankees from the Cubs at the 24 deadline and really struggled. 4.89 ERA across 70 innings, 24.7% strikeout rate between the end of 24 and 25. He was due $3 million in arbitration this year. They non-tendered him instead. But a lot of the stuff that he does makes a lot of sense for the Braves. He throws all 3 fastballs. It's predominantly a sinker. He gets a 47% ground ball rate because he's so primary on that sinker. He doesn't give up a ton of quality contact. Hard hit rate of 33% is 94th percentile. So only 6% of pitchers are better than him at limited hard hit contact. The barrel rate, 5.6%. That's 88th percentile because he doesn't give up hard hit balls. And a lot of the balls he does give up are on the ground. And he has a pretty good whiff rate, 77th percentile of 29.1%, because his 6-pitch mix, including all 3 fastballs, includes a splitter that is devastating and a curveball with more drop than most. So If the Braves are looking at one more bullpen signing, because we re-signed Iglesias, I'm getting to Joel Payamps, who I think is part of this bullpen in 2026. The third guy, and somebody you can probably get for cheap, is going to be Mark Leiter. And all of a sudden, now you're practically finished with the bullpen, and you still haven't spent a ton of money. Because Payamps re-signed with Atlanta for $2.25 million on Sunday afternoon. He was another late waiver claim by the Braves. 2 appearances, 2 2/3. They outrighted him, and he elected free agency. Now he's back. His arbitration projection was like $3.4 million, so they saved some money here. But this is guaranteed money. $2.25 million. He is now guaranteed for this money. And he has been very good in his career up until 2025. And when you look at what happened in 2025, it doesn't really make a lot of sense that he struggled as much as he has. He's a 4-pitch guy, 4-seamer and a sinker, slider, and then a little bit of changeups, almost exclusively to lefties. And it really feels like, from an inputs perspective, he's not that different. Oh, he does have a cutter. He threw exactly 2 of them last year. Out of 449 pitches in the majors, he threw 2 cutters. So it doesn't show up on the StatCast card. You have to be at over 0.5% to show up. But he does have a cutter. I have confirmed that he has a cutter. Did you guys expect anything less from me than confirming he had a cutter? But it really feels like this is a scenario where a lot of the issues were on the fastballs, okay? His 4-seamer, same velocity as the previous year. Batting average went from 169 to 359, almost 200 points worse. But the expected batting average was 246. So a lot of bad luck there. The slug on the 4-seamer, 24 to 25, went from a 385 to a 590. But the expected was a 428. Sinker, similar boat, 163 to a 412 on batting average. And a 302 to a 941 year-over-year slug on the sinker. The dirty secret about relievers is that their performance is incredibly volatile. And a couple bad outings or one bad month can ruin your numbers for the entire season. But Joel Payamps, fundamentally, the inputs were roughly the same as they were the year before. His sinker had very similar movement. The 4-seam fastball had very similar movement. And yet the results were significantly worse. Worse enough where the Brewers just washed their hands of him altogether, put him on waivers, and the Braves claimed him. Outrighting him, letting him go to free agency, and then bringing him back at this price was the best move for the Braves to do. And just based off of basic statistics, he's likely to regress back to the mean next year and be an above average bullpen arm for you. Just like he's been in every year of his career until now. So if you look at the Braves bullpen as of right now, Iglesias clearly a lock. Raisel Iglesias is a lock. Dylan Lee is a lock. Aaron Bummer, because of the money he's owed, $9.5 million, he's a lock. Joe Jimenez, if he's healthy, is a lock. Joel Payamps, because of the guaranteed money, is probably right there with him. Jose Suarez is an open question. I think he could be. Dylan Dodd's out of options. He likely makes the pin as well. And then your 8th pitcher, is it Grant Holmes? Do you make a signing like a Mark Leiter and bump Suarez or something out of this? Does somebody get hurt in spring where you need Holmes in the rotation? I genuinely think, depending on the health of Joe Jimenez, it's possible at most you see one more reliever sign this winter. You may have most of your bullpen done at this point. Between bringing back Iglesias and now bringing back Payamps, you may just be waiting on the health of Joe Jimenez to know if you're signing anybody to a guaranteed role in your, or guaranteed money for a role in your pen in 2026. And on paper, it's not a very impressive group. But, again, bullpens are completely volatile. And, 2021 didn't look like a very good group. And that bullpen was very good in the postseason. They were fantastic in the postseason. We'll see what happens. But it really, to me, feels like Atlanta just might about be done in their bullpen. We'll see what happens. This has been Braves Today for Monday, November 24th. Do me a favor. You're listening on audio. 5-star review would be fantastic. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Also, if you want more conversation, we broke down all of this stuff in the Discord over the weekend. Links in the episode description. Links in the show. Yeah, in the show notes, the episode description. I've also pinned the link on Twitter, on X, on my bio. Join the Discord. Tons of great conversation going on over there. And then always, BravesToday.com. For your paid, those subscriptions help us out a ton. Until next time, this has been Braves Today.